Good night, good night, good night. Welcome once again. Welcome to the Sports Frenzy podcast. I'm your host. Left on with me tonight, I have Rowan, man that calls himself the Guru. A man who is just like myself, is an all-rounder, has a lot of knowledge across all sports genres that he can possibly pick. This man has a knowledge about it. But we're here tonight to talk about some football, and what better way to start it than start off with the English Premier League and the two games that were played yesterday. And man, sometimes you have to shake it and ask yourself some questions because I remember when we were making the predictions early out, people were saying that Chelsea are champions. So like, well, I said it on here. Reason being, I did it to spite the Chelsea fans. I did it as a troll, but Chelsea fans took me serious and think I was actually serious about it. But boy, champions elect, they don't look like it at all. And you have to start asking yourself questions like, what is happening with Tuchel? Because he came in with the three at the back. It was working all fine and all of that. No injuries, COVID, and all that came into play. This man still stood by his three at the back, even when it's not working. Now you look at the game yesterday, and let me just bring it up quickly on the screen. So Chelsea played against Everton. Chelsea had 80% possession of the ball, 23 shots, 10 on target, and guess what? The game ended 1-1. Ron, how do you explain this one? Because Chelsea fans are telling me, say, yo, they still believe in a Tuchel and Tuchel are still the man, but they don't look so bright ever since Manchester United get that draw against them.
Uh, Good night, Levon. Good night, Kims, and to all the persons following the show. I have no issue or no qualms with the system employed. Because when you look at the stats, and you can put the stats back up so the viewers can have a look at what we're talking about. When you look at Chelsea, Chelsea bossed the game. 80%, when you watched it, it seemed like it was significantly more. Uh, the thing is, they just did not take the chances, Levon, because if we're being fair and no trolling here, they really on another day could have scored a hatful of goals. They missed some guilty chances. Early on, Jorginho played a sublime slide rule pass into Reece James, and based on what he has done this season, you'd have expected you'd have put probably some money down on James finding the back of the net. And bizarrely, he drew blank there, and that was the theme throughout the game. And the longer the game went, and the thing is, Levan, in games like these where the teams are so there's such a mismatch. Because remember, Everton was severely depleted. They had Sims went out on loan last season, leading the line on his Premier League Evertonian debut, and also away at Stamford Bridge. He was leading the line. They had to bring in Brathwaite, who actually scored nonetheless. So it was almost a David versus Goliath theme to begin. And Chelsea really will be kicking themselves because on another day they could have taken a handful of chances and this could have been anything resembling a complete rout. But at the end of the day, the only statistics that matter are the ones that show the goals that they scored and the goals that they conceded, and they conceded one. And you figured that even though Chelsea had taken the lead, the fact that they had missed so many opportunities, Levon and Kims, I figured that Everton were always in it because 1-0 is not really a score that will inspire confidence because no matter how much you are in the ascendancy, you have to take your chances when they came. And once Everton got through the first 15, 20 minutes, that's what they did. Every 5 minutes, they basically took it in terms of gaining more confidence, and it panned out in the end that they they somehow left Stamford Bridge with a result. Rafa Benitez against one of his former clubs, because remember in 2012, 2013, he had been their interim manager when they were looking at a manager to end the season. So it's a result that Chelsea will really, really regret, especially on a day when Liverpool were able to get the results. And I know we're going to talk about the Liverpool game, but that will also rankle the Chelsea fans because City seems to be hitting their straps. Liverpool keeps on just churning results out. And Chelsea, as you correctly mentioned, Levon, and I know Kems is going to have a field day because he has been going at them for quite some time. The fact that they have been dropping points is a worrying trend, and I believe that that they need to get some results in the fixtures that they have coming up to regain some confidence, because with City playing so well, putting the results basically it's almost like a metronomic procession for City now. You find Grealish, all of the players now are now basically hitting their straps. We see Kevin De Bruyne. This is worrying for the league. We should put the league on alert. And De Bruyne is now almost getting back to his brilliant best. We know what Bernardo Silva has been doing. So I think Chelsea fans should be worried, because this is a very, very worrying trend.
All right, welcome, Sir Kims.
Hold on.
Before I get to you, here's Biggs Entertain saying that Jen and them, the both friends up and running. Meanwhile, in England, Chelsea are moonwalk. Kims, go ahead.
Yo, well, basically, I agree with most of the points that Rowan made. However, Rowan, I've heard these sentiments for the better part of 2.5, 3 weeks that if Chelsea took their chances, then it would have been a different game. So how much longer are we going to run with that same,
Just to interject quickly, Kems. Well,
yeah.
in terms of the balance of play, it was different as opposed to the last time out when they struggled to put away a defeated Leeds outfit when they won 3-2 based on those two dubious penalties that we'll debate forever. But I think
Yeah.
for the game yesterday, they actually did carve out more guilty chances, level, and you will agree. And
But
they were more in the ascendancy. Yes, they dropped the points, but I think in
but
terms
then
of the balance of play, they were more fluid as opposed to the last
even
time out when they played against Leeds.
but even the game against Manchester United, they were all over Manchester United. They were trampling Manchester United
Yes, but
the same way how they
yes, but
trample
yeah, yes, but did they really create those opportunities against
Yes,
United?
they
I
did.
struggle to remember
Absolutely.
how
Absolutely.
how many guilt edge chances did they create
I,
against United, though, Kims?
I'll
Guilt
I'll
edge
say I'll say
chances.
I'll say at least three. At least three.
Guilt edge chances
And
that they should have taken. Are you
of
talking about
course,
half
at least
chances?
three. No, not even half chances. Chances that Malika sister could have scored. At least three. At least
You
three.
saw some of the chances yesterday that you saw the chance
It's
that
it
Reece James missed yesterday.
no, I mean obviously yesterday was a different situation, but I'm saying, I've long said that Chelsea is not any champions elect, and people beat me in the comment section when
I
I
am
said
not saying that
Liverpool
they
and
are, so let's just put it
no,
that
no,
way. I'm
no,
not saying
no.
that
I
they
know,
are.
I know you're not saying, but for the persons in the comment section, when I said that, hey, let's pump the brakes on Chelsea, because this is my thing. You see, if everything has to be perfect for a team to be successful, that is not a team that I'm going to jump up and say, yeah, that's number one. I've seen Liverpool, have injuries and they still find a way to
Fair
win.
enough.
I've seen Man City have injuries and they find a way to win. As soon
Fair
as
enough.
Chelsea have injuries, coronavirus, I hear, oh, we don't have the full squad. Oh, we need Kante. Oh, we don't have Lukaku. Oh, but then when we have those same ballers and they're not performing, then they hear all this, all that. So I believe it's always an excuse. It's always an excuse for Chelsea. And a team who I hear that we know who we are and we are the champions of Europe and all that kind of stuff. Then I expect you're putting away, as you said, a very makeshift Everton team. And Everton has been struggling for after they win the first couple of games. They've been struggling ever since. And you would have swear so Chelsea would have win 10-0, probably 11-0. And when I told Demo that, I say, hey, Chelsea is not a clinical team. Him run me and him say me talk rubbish and me talk garbage and it keep on rearing its ugly head each and every week. And I'm not saying Chelsea is not good. I believe they're a good team, but I just don't believe they're a heavy hitter as the Manchester City and as the Liverpools of the world. I think, in the third, fourth region, Chelsea can be there. But I guess the brilliant start that they had, they had the fans excited and stuff. But for me,
But
I always think yes.
to be fair, Kims,
Mm-hmm.
to compare them to those two juggernauts, I think is a stretch, because we all will agree that those two teams are absolute machines, and they have been at it for, yes, we know Liverpool was depleted severely for that particular season, last season, and we saw it. But we see now they're now back to their metronomic selves, basically just churning results
But
out
stick
and
up,
just
stick up
looking
in
like,
Doro, I have to interject. You know why? Chelsea fans told Kems multiple times that Chelsea has a team that they can select 3 teams out of Chelsea and can beat up
What?
anybody in EPL.
Yep.
Chelsea fans
And
themselves
even
said it.
even at
on on paper that may be the case, but just to continue the point that I was making, when you look at Liverpool, they have played under club for quite a while, and you see something like that can't be understated because they are machines. You understand? Every player knows what they are expected to do. It is so fluid. They bring in Jota and it's seamless. You see Chelsea bring in a Havertz, and it takes him quite a while. We know he's a wonderfully talented player. We saw that when he was at the Bayern Arena. But the fact is that when City brings in players, when Liverpool
what
brings in players, it's different as opposed to when Chelsea brings in players. It's almost like there's a teething process, and it takes a while before they can understand the Chelsea way, while the others are just almost like it's almost
well
like
well
boom boom.
well Rowan, I don't want to come out here to defend these Chelsea
Not
fans, you know,
defending
because
them, you know. Not
no, no,
defending
tell you
them.
why. No, all right. I don't want to come out here and give them a voice. I don't want to come out here and give them pointers that they can go out there and use. Why? Right? Because when they were loud and going off and showing off and say, remember, this all started from the Champions League last season when they beat Manchester City, right?
Be Manchester City.
After they beat Manchester City, coming into this season, we could not talk to Chelsea fans, including Demo, who is a Liverpool fan, right? We couldn't talk. We couldn't talk, and they were saying, "Oh, Chelsea is the Champions League. Chelsea is the best team in England." And then when Chelsea had that glorious start and they were doing their thing and they were going off, no one was saying, "Oh, it's a long season." No one was saying this. And when Manchester City lost against Crystal Palace, that even the noise got even more, right? But
Okay.
I have always remained to just say, I just there's just something off with Chelsea. When I look at Manchester City, I am fearful. When I look at Liverpool, I am fearful. When I look at Chelsea, I'm okay.
You're
That
okay.
that, 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 that is just what it is. Look at this. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This comment, like these little nuances is what I'm talking about. Like we are still unplayable, by the way, at our best. So then every time when they have a bad performance, they go, oh, we're not at our best. But when they have a great performance, oh, this is Chelsea at their best. Like these are the kind of narratives that we're
But
talking
but
about.
guess what, Kems? It's kind of that's what I say. It's kind of contradictory on Chelsea fans' standpoint. And you know why? Chelsea has created the opportunities now. They have played good in games. Just that they lack that killer instinct to kill off opposition. As Ron mentioned yesterday, Chelsea had opportunities after
Of
opportunities
course,
to beat
I
up Everton.
I thought Mason Mount should have scored a hat trick in the first
Yes,
half.
he definitely had his fair chances. And guys, it was the best probably I've seen ZH in a long while. He was oozing class.
You,
He was different
oh, yep.
level. The thing is, another point, guys. When all the players are fit, I still do not get the idea that Tuchel knows his best.
11. I agree.
I'm not going to say 11. I think he has settled on his back five, right? Because there was some argument to Alonso versus Chilwell, but
Chilwell.
Chilwell's start and then Alonso's deficiencies when he is called to defend has basically put that to rest for the time being. And Reece James has usurped Aspilicueta. But I think he settled at the back, and obviously goalkeeper that's a no-brainer. But I think when you get to the forward position, guys, I'm not convinced that he knows exactly who he wants to use or what he wants to do in terms of does he want to play with Lukaku or does he want to play with a false nine?
But you know
As
what, though?
opposed to City.
You know where the issue comes in? It's based on the system that they play. He's trying to fit all of them into it. And these players cannot fit into that system because, all right, we watch Havertz for a long while. Havertz at his best is either as a secondary striker or as a false nine. His most productive seasons at Leverkusen was as a secondary striker.
Second striker.
No, You look at Werner. Werner best plays on wing. We saw that at Leipzig. When he's on the wing, that's where he plays best. He cuts in
Killer.
and
Yep.
can drift and take
And
players wide and create
and
opportunity for others.
but another thing, Timo Werner, I would go even further to say not necessarily from a nominal wing starting position. I think his issue though, Levon, is more due to the fact that Chelsea's build up it's a bit slow. All right, you see, when the ball at Leipzig, remember Leipzig was heavy metal, right? They got the ball, they press, and they were going right at you. I think Werner, we all know he would play, he would flourish more in a Liverpool system where it is heavy metal, right? Tuchel, yes, he does press, but it's not with the same intensity of a club. So what you find is that Werner doesn't get the chance to run in behind. There are several times when you see Liverpool goals that they play so quickly through the lines, or sometimes they just play vertical. You find that Salah, he's the most dangerous player in the Premier League, right? Yet still, he's still able to get almost a full run. When you look at some of Salah's goals, guys, over the last 2 or 3 years, even this season, where he has been like by far and away the most clinical across the entire division, you find that he's still getting because the way how Liverpool attacks in terms of how they press and how quickly they play the ball forward. So Werner, he can play when he has to think. He has to play off the cuff, basically off impulse, right? So he has to get the ball, he has to go. But with Chelsea's slow build-up, even Lukaku showed that when he was at Inter, that he was more than just a big cumbersome number 9. Let's be fair, right? His game
Link up
did
play with
evolve,
Laturo was
right?
normal because
But
I'm glad you touched on that, because that season at Inter basically played the way like you said Liverpool did, that they
the,
had runners up and down and the build up was very fast. It's not
yeah,
like Chelsea where they knock the
So
ball around
so
and around.
Chelsea and then the thing is, guys, the first couple of games, especially the game against Arsenal, where they played the ball into Lukaku. Lukaku was able to bully Ben White and company, right? And then he could lay it off. But that was not going to be something that was going to be able to be
Sustainable.
replicated throughout the
Yep.
season. So
Yep.
the thing is, because this is the Lukaku that we had seen before, but the thing is, for him to be shoehorned into a cumbersome no man and just boxing like an old-fashioned centre forward. I think that's a disservice because I think the Belgian has evolved. But I think the fact that they play so slowly, guys, and most of those players, they are best when they are able to attack the space. Even Pulisic, brilliant dribbler, but just imagine a Christian Pulisic playing in another system where he's able to flourish in terms of being able to run beyond. And you find that the only person who is basically flourishing now is Mason Mount, because Mason Mount he arrives late and he has an eye for goal, along with Reece James. But the other attackers, they can't flourish because the system it is inhibiting what you would consider to be their best attributes.
All right. So I have a question, right? And I'm really not going to repeat everything we just said because you just outline it well, so I'm sure the viewers understand it. But I've realized something with billionaires, right? Especially billionaires in sports, and I just want you guys to just follow me a little bit. I've realized that billionaires in sports, when they don't get the results that they want, it's very easy to write a check and just send the person on their way, right? That's just what I think, right? So I'm looking at Chelsea owner and so. Um, I'm thinking that if this kind of form continues, I'm thinking by January, because obviously they're going to meet because of what's going on with the coronavirus, blah blah blah. But I'm thinking if this kind of form continues going into January, Rona, you can tell me what you think about it. But I'm thinking that this owner might just say, "Hey, I know we win the Champions League, but this season,
No,
I just
I
think
think
Tuchel.
January is
I
a
think we
bit
have to get him out."
I think January is a bit too. I see where you're going with it, and we know the history of Abramovich. Very quick to pull the plug, but I think it's a bit January. I think would be a bit too early. The form
Even
would have to
Yeah,
nosedive to the
premature.
point where they probably crash out of the FA Cup at the third round. They
hold on, my boss. Before you go into your analysis, right? Let's say January now, they are now 10 points away from the leaders. 10 points and man is saying,
out,
"Oh,
out of the FA Cup. I see where you're going.
you
I see where
understand?"
you're going.
It's
Let's
gonna
just
be the
I
say
plug.
ten.
understand that.
The plug is
And
going to be Poli.
Well, if that's the case, that would be a dramatic drop off for them to be 10 points
Be-
off.
right
So
now they're what? Right now they're 4 points, right?
yeah,
Right.
yes.
4 or 5.
Four, yep, that 10 points are really that far. But I'm just looking at it because we have seen where the patience of this man is just
Four.
one of a kind. When him see things not going well, things going downward slope. You probably they probably run up in a team, probably run up in a Man City or Liverpool. Probably lose that game badly. Coach probably say, well, might as well we just get somebody else if this is the direction where we're going because we have
Yes,
seen him do.
but to be fair to Tuchel though, when let's just look at the managers who have been at Chelsea under Abramovich. Let's go back. All right, Ranieri was there first, right? Ranieri got the money. He did improve the squad. They challenged, but they didn't win the title in 2004. Then 2005, we know Mourinho came in from 2004. He won it in 05, 06, and they had a falling out. The form nosedived and he was ushered out, right? Avram Grant came in. He did a job. They had Gus Hiddink, they had Scolari, but those weren't what you would consider to be long-term managers, right? Even though they had big reputations. Scolari because of the World Cup victory, Gus Hiddink because of his work in the Netherlands, obviously. Then we go to AVB. AVB was supposed to be the second coming of Mourinho, right? Big reputation, but he hadn't done anything outside of Portugal, and then because of his age, right? And he was basically fed to the wolves because the players just did not want to buy into his tactics. But when you look at all of those managers, I think in terms of reputation and standing in the game right now, I think Tuchel would have a little more leeway than those. Yes, we all know of Abramovich's tendency and his impulsiveness when it comes on to managers and just cutting his losses and just getting the next available guy. But I think in Tuchel's case, I think he would have a little longer rope than even a Frank Lampard because Lampard was a fabulous player, right? Chelsea legend, right? But he just did not have the standing as a coach. And then when you look at the fact that Tuchel has been able to win the Champions League against all odds, and then to be in a position now where 12 months ago, Chelsea wasn't seen in the same breath as a City or Liverpool at full strength, to the point now where persons are probably erroneously, and we can argue this until the cows come, in the same breath as those two juggernauts. The fact is, he has taken them closer to the two aforementioned. So I think while that may be the case, guys, I also would temper that argument by saying that based on his reputation, his standing in the game, and what he has achieved in the time that he has been there, the improvements we see across the squad, depth of the squad, I think he will be given a longer rope than his predecessors.
Well,
Quick question before I move on from it and go to the next game. Kems, do you think that Tuchel's sort of coaching is best suited for knockout competition vis-a-vis league football?
um, well, right now, based on the evidence, and obviously win the Champions League, so if we go off that and how they're playing, I would say it will be more suited for that. But I believe he's a honestly, all fun and jokes aside, I believe he's a very versatile coach. Obviously, I think teams will always have a bad run of form. It's
Ready,
not
sir?
like Chelsea. It's not like Chelsea's playing poorly. They're just not finishing. But I would say more for knockout competitions.
I disagree still. I don't think he's versatile. When he was at
No,
Dortmund, I could say, yeah, but since he has been at Chelsea, that is what I pointed out earlier. He stick with one system. Three at the back and that's it. We hasn't seen him change it.
But
but
but but Levon, to be fair, when you compare him with the two, and I don't have to call your names, we can also see that they don't change. It works.
Now, man,
But
the man, they have a system where if it's not
yes,
working, they're
yes,
going to alter it. You hardly see that man do that.
Yeah, but how many variances have we seen with Pep? Remember that's the argument that is used to beat Pep many times that he doesn't change. Yes, he might tinker with players, but in terms of his
Yeah,
philosophy, right? It
yeah,
remains basically the same.
I think it
So
changed at times. The reason being art.
yeah,
At particular point last season, I saw him use a 4-1-4-1 formation.
but the thing is, Levon, and you say that with a smirk on your face because you know football, right? It
Mm,
looks like 4-1-4-1 on paper, right? But
mm,
when the players play, it branches off into what it is always.
uh-huh.
Where the attacking numbers, when they lose the ball, they win it back. But when they
yep.
win it back, guys, we know that they recycle position. As opposed to Liverpool, when they win it back high up the pitch, they are going because remember that club always, and he has famously said he doesn't use a number 10 because his pressing game is his number 10, right? So, yes, they might tinker a bit, but to say that they have a plan B, I wouldn't agree necessarily because we have seen where these managers have been lambasted in the past when they haven't gotten the results for being too rigid and being stubborn. Even
Yeah,
Conte, remember when he changed to three and they succeeded, the following season when they started to struggle, people were saying that Conte should change because everybody is now finding out the three at the back. Went to
yep,
Italy, usurped on Juventus, and back in England, and he's back with his back three. So it's a case, guys, where I believe that managers they're all stubborn in their own way. When it works, they look like geniuses. When it doesn't work, they're told that they need a plan B.
Yeah,
yeah.
true.
That is true. But I guess as they always say, it's a results business. So
Yeah.
once you're getting the right result, then hey, everything is good. Once the results start,
You're going to
and then
question it.
yes, sir.
All right. So yes, Michelle's saying that that is so Levan. I think he should be the next coach for Germany. What do you think? Absolutely not. We have enough coaches, Michelle. Come on. Hansi Flick will be there for a while, and if Hansi Flick decide that he's going to walk away, fret not thyself. Jurgen Klopp is an hand to take up the Germany role once his Liverpool contract is up. If not Klopp, okay. You know what? Let me not go on because I'm going to say Nagelsmann, Tedesco, and the list is long. Because Tedesco is actually a German. That man is not Italian.
There is Marco Rosa.
No man,
Even though
Russell
Levon,
has
he
deficiencies.
he I think is a bit too gung ho because you see, so all of these managers, look at even Italy, Gasparini, fabulous when it comes off, the attacking numbers, but Atalanta can't defend to save
Facts.
themselves.
Facts. All right, the next game that we saw and was Liverpool against Newcastle. I was talking to Ryan about it backstage where the Newcastle player went down in the box when Jota scored that goal. And I personally thought that the referee should have blown for a foul because it was well, not necessarily a foul, but because it was an head injury, he should have stopped the play. He didn't. Play continued. Jota scored. Kims, what do you think about that and what do you thought about Liverpool performance?
I wish Dima was here. Because I don't remember which game it was, and he was saying that they should have and Shakes was arguing that no, they shouldn't stop the game, and Dima was saying yeah, they should have stopped the game. So it will be interesting to hear his views on this scene, his team. I definitely agree that they should have stopped the game for sure, or Liverpool should at least kick out the ball and so what. Hey man, when they want to score and you're 1-0 down and boy, when push come to shove, you just do what you have to do. With Liverpool performance, obviously, they started out a little bit shaky. I don't know if it's because there was no Van Dijk because of COVID and so. But eventually, as I say, the elite will always show their class, and then after the game and after that goal, they just take over the game and they just automatically get Newcastle, out of the game. I still think that Liverpool, could have been better, could have been more cleaner, could have been more crisp, in the passing, in the attacking. But and again, Trent, that goal that Trent scored was absolutely sensational. I can't do it like Demo, so you have to come do it whenever you're ready. But it was absolutely sensational. And this man is just impressing, and I hope Southgate is watching because we need him. We need him in that squad. But Liverpool did what they were supposed to do, and quickly Newcastle. I don't know, boy, because the next I don't know how the fixture is going to work now because everything that's going on. But the next two fixtures are supposed to be Man City and Manchester United. So, it's really looking bad on them. But then,
Before I move on as well, Kims, I'm glad that Biggs Entertain brought this up because I was absolutely fuming when this guy didn't put the ball in the back of the net. He's saying that when Liverpool scored, Maximin got the ball back for score immediately. He did because it was him basically. And come on, he can easily outpace those defenders. So I mean, he did the wrong thing, wrong choice. Kick it straight at Allison.
and
Chance
then,
gone.
and this is what, and before Rowan come in, and this is what I've oftentimes accused this player of his football IQ. Yeah, him skill, yeah, him can dribble, yeah, him can twist and bicycle over the ball and all of that. But when you have to make a quick decision, like on the fly, are you able to make the right choice? And more often than not, he's not. And these are the things that separate the greats from the OKs. And I just think, as I said, he's an OK footballer, and I don't think he should be at any big club. Demo say he should be at Liverpool. I don't know why, but I just don't think that his football IQ is where it's supposed to be. Probably he can continue to grow into that person. Right now he's very skillful, but I just don't think his IQ is where it's supposed to be as a footballer.
All right, go ahead, Rowan.
Yes, it was an extension at that point, and that's why when he left the French Riviera, because he was at Nice, he would delight and frustrate in equal measure. Kims. The thing about it, that's why he ended up on Tyneside and not somewhere more fashionable in terms of footballing. Because yes, we know Newcastle is traditionally a big club, but they have fallen by the wayside. So let's not fool ourselves. And that's why he has always been looked on by Europe's elite as being, yes, ultra talented. And not even talking about just skill in terms of sheer pace. When he decides to shift gears, he's exhilarating to watch. But he, as I said on one of the previous shows, there's more style than substance. He does the approach work; it's brilliant, and then when he gets into the position, he frustrates. Back to the game itself, it was strange that Newcastle started without Callum Wilson, because you figured that Callum Wilson should have led the line. But notwithstanding, they got the lead. Former Liverpool player John Shelby, remember they bought him from Charlton, big reputation. He was billed as the next Gerrard. Didn't pan out for him. Has a decent career at on Tyneside. But during the game, you saw the best and the worst of Shelby. Absolutely brilliant striker at the ball. Reminds me of Tom Huddleston, guys. Used to play for Derby, then got a big transfer to Tottenham, played for England and all. Able to keep the ball without practically any backlift, right? Can put the ball basically anywhere. But slow in possession, struggle against the press. We saw this in the previous game where he was pressurized by Tielemans. We spoke about Lascelles, that foul or that or the embellishment of Madison when he drew the foul from Lascelles. But that was caused because of Shelby's dawdling in possession. So it was a case where they got the lead, but you didn't figure that they would have been able to hold the lead, and so it panned out. Liverpool ended up worthy winners. Saint Maximo, we spoke about that chance earlier. That was a key moment because right after he fluffed that chance, Liverpool went over the other end, and once they got themselves in front, you fear the worst. We had predicted that it would have been a total shellacking. Didn't pan out that way. But Alexander Arnold, I think he was trying to rival De Bruyne's strike because De Bruyne's goal earlier this week was one to see, almost took the net off poor Ilian Millier when the ball hit the back of the net in that particular game. Millier's hand was just going up. So I think Liverpool, they got the results, and they will be heartened by the fact that Firmino was able to see some action, because he is a key component. Yes, Jota has done well, but you will need Firmino, especially in January, for the African Cup of Nations.
All right, so we're going to move forward now and look at the games on the weekend. But before I do so, I want to big up everybody in the comment section. A lot of names, so I'm not going to call anybody name. Just big up on yourself. And I have an announcement to make at probably the end of the show that will have you, the viewers, interested. So stay tuned for that. Now, tomorrow, first up, we'll see. All right, let's just announce at first that that because of COVID, some of the matches are being postponed on this weekend. So there will be only five matches on this weekend. So let's just go ahead and analyze these five games. So first up, it's Aston Villa against Burnley. Aston Villa playing well with Stephen G. Burnley desperately needs some points. Now, Kims, I know that you like what you see at Aston Villa, and you come here every
Mm,
week and wax about them lyrically.
yep.
No, you look at them against this Burnley team who has been up and down and can't seem to catch a break either, just like Newcastle. What do you
Yep.
think about this one?
Um, well, again, watch Steven Gerrard press conference again in its entirety. Love everything that he was saying. He was basically saying, boy, he doesn't, he said he has a side in his head that he wants to play, but due to the fact that they're still waiting on some COVID results, he's not even sure if that side will be able to play, because, some persons are, on hold or what's it not. But, again, we've talked about this, with Burnley, that, they play one particular way, they know what they're all about and they make it very tough, and I like the discipline, that Aston Villa, has been able to show, with Steven Gerrard. All of the players have been, definitely enjoy playing football, and they play with a particular philosophy. I think it would be, I think it would be a very tight game because, I think Burnley is coming into that game for a draw. I don't think Burnley want to win. Burnley just don't want to lose, right? So their aim is not to lose. Similar to the game with West Ham, and I believe that obviously, this is football. This is the Premier League. There'll be a chance here or there, for you to nick it at the end. So I think that is the philosophy that Burnley go with. All right, we're just gonna defend it out, and then we might get a little set piece, a corner, a free kick or something, and one of our heavy hitters can go ahead and head it in or so. But I really love what Steven Gerrard is doing. Obviously, we spoke about it level on with his fullbacks, being involved in the attack a lot. They're actually, they're just playing the ball well. They're playing the ball very crisp, and I see Aston Villa winning this game. Because obviously they have won four of their last six. They only lost to, Liverpool and Manchester City. So I just see they find a way to win this game. They find a way to grind out this game. I believe Aston Villa, one of those teams who can match the physicality of Burnley. Especially like how they take the personality of the manager right now. So, I think it's going to be a very tough game. I'm going, I'm going 2-0. Going 2-0 Aston Villa.
All right, so before I get to run, for the betters, Aston Villa is getting $1.71 to win this game. If they're supposed to get what Ken's just alluded to, that win and over 1.5, that is paying $2.10. Can't go
Which
wrong.
I'll know my website down, brother.
Jaja. All right, go ahead, run.
Yes, Levon, another battle of the Clarets and Blues. Hard to go against Aston Villa. I think Kems hit the nail on the head in terms of how well they have played since the new manager stepped through the doors. It's bouncing at Villa Park these days. They resemble a proper side under Stevie G. The funny thing is, just to do a bit of backtracking, when you look at how Sean Dyche has Burnley, basically like some foot soldiers. Uh, he doesn't compromise, guys. So when you go right across the division, they're all the same. They are just, you know what you're going to get 4-4-2. Whether he decides to use Rodriguez, Chris Wood, Ashley Barnes, or he wants to use Maxwell Corney, because remember Corney was supposed to be a wide player, but then because people had found out the two big cumbersome strikers mobility. Dwight McNeil has been missing in action, guys. Talented player, just hasn't lived up to the billing. He brings a lot of creativity to what Burnley does. I expect Danny Ings to put one over his former club. Remember that Burnley is where it's all started in terms of Premier League action for the Ings, and then
Yep.
that resulted in that move to Liverpool. Yes, didn't they cut it at Liverpool primarily due to injuries and also the quality that was he was up against. So I think really can see past Aston Villa getting 3 more points, and if they do, that would be 15 from the last 21, and that is really good going. So I think Aston Villa, I think Burnley scores one from a dead ball situation, whether a free kick or a corner. But from the normal balance of play, it's hard to see how they carve chances out. Because the thing is, if Cornet plays, yes, they have mobility or probably Vidra. But Vidra has shown in so many cases, guys, that he's just not cut for the top level. Brilliant in the championship with
That man
Watford,
supposed to go on a
but
championship, man.
can't do it. Can't do it. We have seen enough evidence now to see that Mattia Vidra just cannot cut it in the Premier League. So it's a case where they have to play that particular way. If Cornet plays, if Dwight McNeil comes out and plays something like, or they get a good service from either Lawton or Charlie Taylor, then would may get his head onto one or probably something from dead ball. Kim's alluded to this Tarkovsky or me, but it's hard to see them score more than once against this Villa team that has played really well. So I think Villa wins it. I'm going to give them a goal. So I think 2-1 to Aston Villa in the Battle of the Clarets and Blues.
Okay. Here's Biggs Entertain again saying that when playing against big teams, the chances that they will get will be minimal. Put those chances away and game complexion change sometimes. That's facts. But next up, we'll see Rowan team, Arsenal. I mean, boy, it seems like these betting sites are in love this weekend because Arsenal are getting $1.90 to win against this Leeds team. And once again, Leeds are missing a lot of first team players. Now, Ron, go ahead and describe this one.
This resembles the build up to the Chelsea versus Everton game, guys, where you would figure that the home team will carve a lot of chances out against a depleted outfit. Leeds are missing so many key players, guys, and it's basically the spine of the team. Because the thing is, you can miss players, right? But when you miss the spine of your team, it is a different argument because you can miss a wide player or you can miss you can miss one of your midfielders. But when you take out the spine, because when you look at Leeds, Bamford is essential to the way how they play. Because Rodrigo hasn't cut it. The Brazilian-born Spanish international just hasn't lived up to the billing. Even when he has played, Rafinha is hot and cold. We'll all agree with that. He is talented, but I'm not sure if he's always up for these really really big games. I'm not saying that this is a big game because Arsenal they have underwhelmed as well. But in a game of this magnitude, I think Arsenal finds a way, but they make it hard for themselves because in games like these, the cards are stacked in their favor, but you tend to normally come unstuck. But I think that result against West Ham will set them in good stead because they did not concede a lot of chances to West Ham, and this was a West Ham team that would have arrived. Yes, they were a bit deflated, not getting the result on the weekend against Burnley, but they were still in good spirits because they had done so well against what you'd consider to be traditional top four, top six teams this season, whether in the cup, in the Carabao Cup, or in the English Premier League. So I think that will set Arsenal in good stead, and I think the young players are coming to the fore. We saw Martinelli scoring again, looking very good. We see where the ability of, like I said, to link the play shows that he is the one who is supposed to be in the team ahead of Aubameyang, offers nothing unless he is getting onto the end of chances. Odegaard still continues to play well. Smith Rowe. So I think Arsenal wins this, and it's hard to see Leeds scoring. Arsenal normally concedes a goal or two, but Leeds, they're so depleted. It's hard to see how they will fashion enough chances and will eventually take one at the Emirates. Sorry, at Ellen Road.
Okay. Kens, before I get to you on this one, I just want to mention something about basketball because I'm here just watching that Heats game, Boss, that Max Struss dude is having a monster night for Heats, man. 29
Oh,
points off the bench, Max Struss.
wow.
29 points off the bench, man. He has been shooting the three all night long, man. So he's doing well for them right now. But Arsenal against Leeds. Where's this one going?
Mhm. Um, Arsenal right now, because I think Arsenal had they started out bad, get a little form, get a little dip. No, them get back again. I think removing I want to call him Aubameyang, same name pronounced. Getting rid of him, getting rid of the noise around the team. I like my little analogies. Ron. I don't know if you ever hear them, but you're gonna hear one tonight, right? When you have a girl and boy, things just rough, brother. She can't do nothing right. She can't do nothing right. And then you decide, say, you know what, it's time to cut bait with her. It's time to just cut it off. And as soon as you cut it off, so things just start flourish for you. And I think, because I just never think Arsenal would have got a result against West Ham. But they got, Aubameyang out the team, take away the captaincy from him. Arteta get the guys to focus. And then now going into a depleted Leeds team, I'm thinking right now I have Arsenal to win 5-0. I have Arsenal to win this game 5-0. Right? Because this Leeds team can't defend to save them life. Who they going to put Fur Paul and them people that a barbecue chicken that. And as much as I don't rate crap as it, I think Arsenal has Arsenal has some good attacking players, some nice young players. The England international Saka, of course. Very bright spark. But I just don't see Leeds stopping Arsenal. Looking like they look really good against West Ham to me. And Rowan. Even the last show, where we spoke, I said to you, I think Leeds might get a point from Arsenal. I don't know if you remember I said that, but
Yes, I
then
remember.
after watching that performance against West Ham, and obviously it wasn't a blow me away performance, but it's one of those
Solid.
performances. Yes, one of those performances that hey, if you're serious about making it to Europe, you get a result for this one. You get 3 points for this one, and I really like what Arsenal did. So with this Leeds game, what a better time to face Leeds where they have to be putting people here, putting people there. But I think Leeds will probably show some pride after that 7-0 against City. They'll try to show some pride. They'll try to come out. But I just don't see Bielsa playing any other way. He can't do anything else. So he's still just going to go out there and try attack. And I think, Arsenal is just going to just, blitz them and just give them. Let me not even say 5-0. I'll give it 4-0. 4-0 to Arsenal.
All right, so
Okay.
listen. You know what that's for those who are selling? All right, if Arsenal win and 3.5, that is $4.50.
Mm.
For them to win and 4.5, that is paying $7.50. So
Boy,
just
they're nice,
imagine.
man.
It's a
How
big
much how much Arsenal get to just win?
$1.90.
That's
That's
good.
what, that's why I told you that it seems like the betting companies are just handing out some free food this weekend.
Yeah,
Because
Christmas
I said
money,
that
man.
the reason I said that, and Ron and I was talking about it backstage about Lazio and Genoa. You know that Lazio got $1.80 to beat Genoa at home earlier on today.
That
And,
drug thing.
and Genoa have been awful, brother.
Oh
Awful.
gosh, man. They
Awful.
have been awful. They have been
Diabolical.
awful. How much the game then? The game done
Three
earlier
one.
3-1.
today.
I bought it in for Lazio to win and 2.5. I got it for what, $3.80, I think.
Dang.
Yeah, man. But next up, we're going to look forward to the games that will take place on Sunday. And first up, we'll see Newcastle taking on Man City. And boy, as we said, Newcastle just seems to can't catch a break. Man City will just swamped up Leeds. Man, Newcastle seems like they're going to be swamped once again. Right, how you see this one going?
Difficult to to look past City probably trying to rack up as many goals as they put past the hapless Leeds the last time out. Newcastle, they have been very, very poor. It's just difficult to see how they can get a result even at St. James's Park. It's I'm I, I'm struggling, guys, to make a case for them. The thing is, in games of this magnitude, if they are able to get through the first 15 minutes unscathed, then they may grow into the game. But that first 15 minutes, because City is going to monopolize possession. City gets that first goal in Eho's best plans. are exposed, they will have to try to do something to, well, it's either damage limitation or they're going to have to try to find a way back into the game. We know how they're going to set up. They're going to be ultra defensive and they're going to concede possession, which is not Eddie Howe's style, guys. Because remember, Eddie Howe, he had carved his name out at Bournemouth as being a ball playing manager who wants to play the right way. And we lambasted him in our different conversations because people kept on saying that he didn't have the players to play that particular way, but he stuck to his philosophy. Eventually, they didn't score enough goals and they were relegated eventually. They flirted with danger a couple of times. Eventually, they saw the drop. But the thing is, it's going against what you consider to be his philosophy based on the fact that they are struggling to get results and based on the players that he has now. So the January window can't come quick enough because I think he needs time to get some of these players out the door. I'm seeing City, even with a change on team, just absolutely walking this game. But as I said before, always try to make a case for the underdog. If they're able to get through the first 15, 20 minutes, then they may be able to spring a surprise. But if they concede early, then City scores probably 4, 5, probably 6 goals against this Newcastle team.
Here's Dale Garden saying that imagine all the Saudi money in the championship. But Kems, let's see this one going. And let me just tell you from the top of my head that City is getting $2.05 to score 4 goals in this game.
Well, normally when City scores 7, City now follow it up with a 4 or 5. So, that's probably, the better the odds them want just tease you. But obviously, I think, City will win this game for sure. The scoreline I don't know, but obviously City is just, City is just a different class, and City will have you running away, running around, trying to touch the ball and can't touch the ball. That is what I see, going on Sunday. I just see City passing it around, Newcastle trying to reach it because the thing with Newcastle, they can't, as Rowan alluded to, Eddie Howe, attacking manager and thing, and believe it or not, Newcastle need points. They need points, and if they don't get points, I think they need a game where they can feel good about it. All right, we play against Manchester City, we lose 1-0, but we were compact, we were good. They need one of those moral booster games. And I don't see it happening against City, probably against United, but I just think City is too good right now. Kevin De Bruyne, even though he had COVID, come back, just looking good. We spoke about that goal earlier. Jack Grealish finding his feet, getting a goal. You know how it go when they get a goal, you start building your confidence. Sterling never played last game. I'm sure he'll be on this game. Everybody wants a goal, everybody wants a chance, everybody wants an opportunity, to prove themselves in this star-studded team. So I'll go Man City win, very easily, comfortably. I'll give it a 3 now.
Okay. Next game that will be on, we'll see Wolves taking on Chelsea Sunday morning at 9 a.m. because Newcastle will be at 9 a.m. Wolves will also be at 9 a.m. And if one thing Kim's normally come on the show and says is that Wolves, they might not be scoring a lot, but they also don't concede at their home much. Rowan, go ahead and talk about this one.
Last time out, I had tipped Wolves to become unstuck at the Amex. Thought that Brighton would have nicked it 1-0. It went the other way, even though Brighton, as we all agreed before the game was played, that they would carve chances out, but we struggled to see how they would get the ball across the line. Mwepu, player with a big future in my estimation. Got some guilty chances and an unlikely source, guys. Robin Sice was the one who found the back of the net. So it's worrying still from a Wolverhampton Wanderers perspective that the attackers aren't necessarily finding the back of the net. But with that trusted back three that Bruno Lage has, and funny enough, Max Killman, he's heavily left-footed, but he's playing as the right-sided centre back, and Roman Saiz and obviously Connor Cody. They have been able to protect Jose Sa. So they don't concede much. Playing at Molineux, they will fancy their chances because they got a moral boosting victory on the South Coast against Brighton, up against Chelsea, who is struggling to put results on the board. It should be an interesting game. Still expect Chelsea to boss possession. Will they be able to take the chances that I think that they will create? They have to move the ball quicker, and they have to take some of these chances because Wolves, we know they will get one or two opportunities, whether from the dead ball or from normal passenger play, because they have the pace on the counter attack to expose Chelsea. And Chelsea, we know at times they go gung ho and they play with a high line. So if you have spacing behind and the ball is played properly, I think Wolves can capitalize. But still going with Chelsea, think they arrest the slide. They win. I give them probably 3-1. But I think Wolves gives them a proper game. It's a travesty, guys, that Pedro Neto. We keep on talking about this player that he isn't playing because he's such a big weapon for. And we saw how he grew when Jota left to go to Liverpool. We saw how Pedro Neto grew, and Euro 2020, which was held obviously in 2021, would have been his big coming out party for me. And then he got injured, serious injury, ACL, no player. We wish that upon. We wish him a speedy recovery because he's a player, I think, who has a bigger upside than Trincao. Trincao has a big reputation, but Trincao, I think he plays too much on the periphery, guys, for me. He doesn't get involved. Huang has gone off the boil, so I'm struggling to see how they are going to score. Adama Traore may be the biggest weapon against the high back line, but he is like a poor man's Saint Maxima. All good approach work and then nothing in terms of end product. So Chelsea for me 3-1, and the silence Kims for probably a day or two.
I disagree with that. I don't think Chelsea will score 3 at Wolves home.
Yep.
But I'm
I
scratching
agree.
my head. I kind of want to go on the draw line, to be honest. I think it'll probably be a 1-all draw or 0-all draw, to be honest. But Kems, you know that for Wolves to win, that is paying $6.50. For the draw, it's paying $4.
I think maybe if my website come back up, I'm going to pick a draw for that game. But Rowan, I don't know where see those 3 goals coming from, but let's see. Again, if you watch the Liverpool versus Wolves, or Liverpool had it really, really, really tough, really, really, really tough, and until that last substitution in the last 2-3 minutes, obviously, I think Jota got a chance, and but in the totality of the game, Wolves defended brilliantly, and boy, I don't know how Chelsea is going to score 3. I probably give Chelsea 1 goal, just off the strength that they're a good team, and I don't think, and Wolves have absolutely no problem playing boring for 90 minutes. No problem. They have no problem sitting
All
behind the
right,
ball.
Kems, I'm going to interject a minute
Yeah.
just to go back to Run Point again.
Yeah.
Where do you see those 3 goals coming? City played against them 1-0. Liverpool played against them 1-0. So
Yes,
expect
but
Chelsea to score 3.
to be fair, guys, especially that Liverpool game, Liverpool missed a plethora of chances.
But
So
here what?
and by the way, there's going to be a big. Well, I haven't looked at the team news coming from Molineux just yet. I'm going to look at it in a few. But Ryan Aitnori, if he doesn't play and Marcel plays, I think that's a big drop off because while Marcel would have been the nominal left back, Aitnori, because of his pace, because we saw how he was able to shadow Mohamed Salah, probably the best he has been defended 1v1 all season. Once he went off injured, they conceded. I don't get the same confidence when I see Marcel because we know he had been out injured for a while. I believe Chelsea scores an early one. Wolverhampton Wanderers under Bruno Lage, they have to play a bit more expansive, and Chelsea is able to get a second one. That's just my feel. I think Chelsea gets a early goal, and the early goal it will set the cat among the pigeons because the thing is, if Wolves gets through 20, 25 minutes, Chelsea is going to start getting anxious because they have been struggling, and the away fans are going to start probably getting on the players because they are nervous because of what City and Liverpool are doing in terms of setting serious pace at the top of the league. But I think they get an early goal, guys, and I think that will settle them down, and I think they'll be able to pick Wolverhampton Wanderers off because Wolves will start to play a bit more expansive, trying to get back into the game.
All right, Ken's finish up.
Um, yeah. So, obviously, as I said, Chelsea just have not been clinical at all. And I can't trust them to score even 2 goals against this Wolves team. Unless something catastrophic happen, meaning penalty, red card, anything of that nature. But if it's 11v11 at Wolves home, absolutely not. Wolves, I can tell you exactly how Wolves going to come. Wolves going to come 11 players behind the ball and try and get you on the counter. That is it. That is how it's going to be played for all 90 minutes. So if Chelsea can break that down, then kudos to them. But I haven't seen that. So I have Chelsea 1, Wolves 1.
All right, so here's Joseph saying that football is like biscuit. You will never know where or when it will crack. Chelsea look very vulnerable. Their place is up for grabs. The Blues are not a team to fear currently. And here's also Emerald saying that yes, Levon, I feel that your match probably end up 1-0 or 0. And here's Adrian responding that United, Liverpool, and City had it hard versus Wolves at Wolves and still get a result. Actually, City had them at home, so correction right there for you. And here's Michelle says that she rebuked us games because we have her team drawing. Sorry, Michelle, but I just can't. I just don't see the win this time around.
I'm going to see it.
I'm saying it's possible that you guys can win, because you have a team to win. But based off analysis, I see this one as a draw. Final game of this match weekend, a short match weekend, as I mentioned, will be Tottenham against Liverpool. And we know that both teams have been ravaged by COVID and all of that. Van Dijk is out, Fabinho is out, Curtis Jones is out for Liverpool. I haven't seen any news about anybody else. But for Tottenham, I haven't seen any news of recently that anybody is out. So, and a factor in all that, run, they haven't looked good any at all under Conte. Yes, they have gotten results. And people normally say it's a results business here, but they haven't looked good. But I think Liverpool has what it takes to beat this Tottenham team.
Definitely. I have to go with the Reds here. Uh, Tottenham and Conte, they have been turgid. Uh, and the thing is, guys, even though people normally classify Conte as being ultra defensive, when you look at the teams that he has had time with, Juventus, then the Italian national team saw it at Chelsea. They did score quite a bit of goals. Inter last season under Conte. Yes, we know it's in the Serie A and all of that, but they are not as defensive as people would have you believe. Because the reputation Italian manager, because he was a defensively minded midfielder, basically a ball carrier, a water carrier, sorry. But when I look at this game, I just think that Liverpool, they have been getting the results. Yes, they have been affected by injuries, but their squad is quite deep. Not as deep, arguably, as a City or a Chelsea, but still deep enough. Because when you can bring in a Konate, Levon and I have spoken about this player for quite some time ago when we used to talk regularly when I had time. Not like him now because he has all the time in the world. But when we spoke about, because remember when people used to talk about Upamecano, and then we spoke about Konate years ago. So when they can bring in a 40 million pound signing, guys, who has such a high ceiling to replace Van Dijk, it shows you the depth in quality. They still have Joe Gomez, so Liverpool, I think they will be able to absorb these injuries. Curtis Jones right now is a fringe player. Yes, Fabinho, we know is going to be a loss, but I think they have enough in midfield to cover that. They can even dare I say play Jota in a withdrawing role, and he can play all four up front. So they have so many options. And the thing about it is that Tottenham, they haven't played in a while. It's bordering 2.5 weeks since they last played a competitive match. So I think Liverpool, all the factors are stacked in their favor. I think they will be able to have the measure of this Tottenham team, and I think it will be a closely fought thing for fourth position, because all the teams that are battling for fourth, there are serious question marks over all of them. Whether you want to see West Ham United, Tottenham, whether you want to put Arsenal in it, Leicester, whomever, they are all teams with huge question marks one way or the other. So I think Tottenham, they have gotten results under Conte. The worrying thing, guys, is the drop off. It's almost like he has dropped off a cliff, hurricane. It's not just the fact that he hasn't scored goals, because goals are just one part of the game, but just his all-one play. It's a bit improved under Conte, guys, but he's so important to the way how Tottenham plays, and they are heavily reliant on the South Korean son to be the source of goals. And I don't think they have enough creativity in midfield. I think there needs to be a place for either Giovanni Lo Celso long term or Ndombele, because I think they're able to break the lines. I don't think this skip or whether they want to use wings alongside Højbjerg, I don't think that's the way forward, because I think they need a bit more creativity from deep. But I'm going to give Kems his opportunity, but I think Liverpool wins probably 3-1, because Tottenham, they do still, even under Conte, have a soft underbelly. I think Liverpool will be able to exploit.
Okay. Kems, go ahead.
Really quickly, because one I did, but hey, all I'm saying is I can't remember the last time Tottenham play a game. So Tottenham play should be what, 3rd of December. Brother, it's the 17th, no, the 8th. They're going to play what, the 19th?
So it's almost 2.5 weeks.
Oh gosh, man, 16 days to be exact, right? So if this coach is who you guys tell me he is, you know, he's supposed to win this game. You find a way to win.
Crazy Liverpool boss, this club.
No, wait a minute. No, listen. Liverpool have been playing constantly, consistently. You know, they've been playing probably 3 games in probably 7 days, 8 days, 9 days, whatever you want to match it out, something like that. Probably 10 days. And you haven't played a game in 16 days. I want to see this Tottenham team, they should come out on the front foot. This Tottenham team is supposed to be pressuring Liverpool from whistle one. From the whistle blow, they're supposed to be all over Liverpool, because they are the fresh team. They are the one who haven't played in 16 days, and they have a superstar coach who I hear is top 3 coaches of who is currently coaching in football right now. That's what they tell me, Rowan. And I don't know if it's true, but that's what they tell me, right? So, you know, with that being said, Tottenham should win this game, but I will definitely not pick them, because I just think that they are not good, and I don't think this coach will have the effect, you know, make this team any better. So I think Liverpool will win this game 2-0.
Okay. So here's Michelle asking how many players at Man U have COVID. So the game that we should have played against, who was it midweek? I believe it was Brentford. We only had 9 outfield players fit that didn't have COVID or any injuries or anything like that. For the game tomorrow against Brighton, we only had 7, so game just couldn't go ahead. Just couldn't. A lot of them has contributed, because they said that most of the players are just taking one job so far. So yeah, I know that there's a huge wave in the UK right now, and I saw a comment from Joseph further. Well, here it is. Joseph saying that the FA should really consider a break now to keep up the integrity of the competition. If many players test positive in the next couple of weeks, then there has to be a break for a full recovery.
Hold on. You agree with that?
Yep.
I disagree with that. All right, and this is why, and this is exactly why, you know, we have, and you know, I just disagree with it, because this is why you have a squad, right? And if you have a squad, you know, you should be able to, once you can feel a certain amount of players, you're supposed to be able to do so. Because I look at this COVID thing similar to an injury, right? If you have a player with 3-4 significant injuries, you're going to ask the league to, hey, let's just take a break until.
It's not a good analogy, James.
No, how is it not a good analogy?
All right, why? Because remember that you just mentioned 4 players down injured, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can those players that are injured give the injury to some other players? No, they can't. While with COVID,
No,
no, you know that if you mix with these particular players within the camp, and
Precise.
you know that they are going to, you have a greater risk of catching it, boss. Come on.
no, but again, all right. So then, if we break it down into particulars like that, then of course not. What I'm saying, I'm looking at it just from a general sense and the grand scheme of things. I'm saying that one, there's a particular responsibility for each and every player, right? However, you contract COVID, da 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 da. There's a particular responsibility for that. And I guess I'm on an island by myself with this, where I just believe that players have to be more careful. In whatever practices that they practice. If you just you understand that there's a particular wave in the UK, but you have a particular job to do. You know, I just believe that you have to try and stay away as best as possible. Probably go training, come home, and again, each and every player, because again, I know and I'm just diverting a little bit in the NBA. That they had a bubble in the NBA in order to finish that NBA season. I'm not suggesting a bubble, but I'm saying each player should probably consider their home a bubble. All right, I'm going to training, then I'm coming home. Going to training, coming home. Until then, something can be resolved for this. But I just
Or
believe that.
do you think that the club should mandate the players to do it? Because yeah, we know that they're adults and all that, but you know that some players just literally don't care.
Well. Probably. I haven't really given it much thought, but I just believe that the players, the whole club on a whole, have to take more responsibility. You can't just be, all right, this person have COVID, that person have COVID, and that. But what are you actively doing as a player, as a club? As an organization, what are you doing to prevent this? Are you still allowing them to just go out, go party, go here, so go this, and just have a free will, and then you come in with COVID, and then I like that. You have to take a particular responsibility because you have
I
a job
agree,
to do.
and I don't want it to actually shut down the sports because it makes it bad for us as sports viewers because we want to see football week in week
Yeah.
out, and then when that happens, it's just bad all around, man. But I already said that your battery is going, so I think you probably have to leave now.
We'll live shortly, man. We have
Okay.
3%.
All right. What I'll say is that before we move on to another topic, a topic that I'm sure Ron will be interested in next week, Tuesday and Wednesday. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to have you, the viewers, call in and voice your opinion on who you guys believe as being the analyst of Sports Frenzy for 2021. Just call in and vote for your favorite person, man. And if you want to leave your reasons as to why you're choosing that person, no problem. If you want to just talk sports with them, no problem. And even if you want to join the panel, no problem. So next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to have a calling segment designated for you guys. So ensure that you come out in your numbers. Tell a friend to tell a next friend to tell a next friend. So we're trying to get the thing to be more interesting and get more subscribers. So next week,
Hey,
Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll be doing that.
another thing as well. For those who are in the comment section, I'm giving away 200 USD if you wanna call and vote for me. All right. So just call and say, hey, I have your favorite. I drop rabbit, man. Drop rabbit. Hey, boy. Yeah, we have a move now, so we talk. See?
All right, that's it, bro.
Okay, Kebs.
All right, so the next topic on run, you know that it's coming up to January. So you know the transfer season is hot. We know that Jonathan Ikonia is basically at Fiorentina
Fiorentina.
already. What are your thoughts on him? All right, let me see. Should I go ahead with all of them first or should I just do them one by one? I think one by one. So let's go through Jonathan Ikonia. What do you think of this player? Because to me, it's kind of similar to Saint Maximin in a sense, that they came with potential, but you just can't get the consistency from them. So what do you
In
think about him?
inconsistent Ikonia. Uh, Match winner on his day, talented, uh, has a brilliant left foot, but the parallels with C Maxima are good. For the persons who probably aren't familiar with him, I think he's a bit more technically sound than C Maxima. C Maxima plays a bit of the cuff, but for Ikonia, he has and he plays from a little further in terms of he plays on a deeper position, although he is comfortable playing off the wings, preferably off the right, because he's able to come inside onto his left foot, which obviously is the stronger of the two. 15 million is the figure that has been banded about. I think that's good. That's good deal to get him to Florence. I think he will thrive there. and I think it's a good deal for them, and Lille probably are looking past Ikonia. I think they're probably regretting that they didn't sell him earlier, because I think in the same window when they sold Nicola Pepe to Arsenal for 72 million, Ikonia was playing some of the best football of his career, and I think Lille has replacements, because when you look at the options that they have, even without bringing in anybody, they have Jonathan Bamba, who's another talented but frustrating wide player. He also was very good in that triumvirate with the aforementioned Pepe and Ikonia, the person who we're referencing now. We know of Timothy Weah. He's also able to fill a spot out wide. Your former player, Gomez, he can play there. So they have options. We know of Jonathan David, and obviously the Turk, who continues to marvel at 35, Burak Yilmaz, complete renaissance, led them to the title nonetheless this season. Yes, playing second fiddle this season behind the super hot Jonathan David. And I think, guy, and for the listeners, I think our own Shamar Nicholson may have suitors at Lille, because if you look at the trajectory of Victor Osimhen, he was at Charlie Law, did well there, and then similar profile to Shamar. Yes, at the time when he moved, he was younger than Shamar, but he ended up at Stade Metropole, which is the home ground for Lille, and then eventually got the big move to Napoli and was showing brilliant form before that horrendous facial injury. So I think it may affect someone close to home with Ikonia moving, because I know that the Charlie Law would have eyes on Lille just the same, because of the connection with Osimhen, and because Shamar has a similar profile in terms of style of play, like the big range in Nigeria.
I heard that Mainz is actually looking at Nicholson as well now.
Yeah,
Mainz and I think it's Offenheim.
and Hoffenheim.
Yeah.
But regardless, he's primed for a move. I just want him to have a good second half of the season, because he's in double figures in terms of goals. And I think that's good going on, because when you look at some of those players, we saw them in the Champions League, some of the players who he plays against week in, week out. And because, or even he's tied with the big Nigerian Onuachu on 10 goals each. Onuachu plays obviously for Genk. You see him in the Europa League. So if you draw a line through them, I think Shamar can play at that level. I think he just needs to take that next step. So a good end of the season may put the Jamaican in good stead. Mainz, that's a good place for him to land next. Hoffenheim, we know what they have done over the years in terms of getting players and moving them on. We have seen many players use it as a stepping stones. I think it's a deal that from the outside doesn't look like it affects Shamar, but the Ikonia move may be one that sets the chain in motion that the Jamaican somewhere down the line is affected.
Yep. All right. Next player that we have seen move. Well, before I get to him, I heard that there's a high possibility that one Jonah Flemings will be on his way to Toulouse down in France, and they're currently in what? I believe they're leading the second division over there.
Second division.
Good move for him.
It's a good move. Toulouse, they have fallen off the radar perennially. In the noughties, they were a team that would challenge the top half of the French league. Some of the players who have played for Toulouse in years gone by, Andrea Pierre-Gignac led the line brilliantly for them. Moussa Sissoko, even Adrien Rabiot was on the books of Toulouse. So they have had very good players, fully fledged internationals, World Cup winners, nonetheless. On their hands. So it's a club steeped in tradition. They fell off, but as you rightfully alluded to, they are making their way seemingly back to League One. So it would be a good move for the Jamaican if he found himself at Toulouse and playing in that famous purple and white.
All right, and since we're over in France, I'm just going to stick over there and get this other one out of the way. So recently I saw it, and I follow Fabrizio well closely, and he just tweeted that Patrick Berg has finally signed for Lens, so he's leading Bodo Glimt. Like this player, like Bodo Glimt as a club, because they're a club that develops a lot of players.
They develop players. The next player who as you mentioned, Bodo Glimt, I have a lot of time for Solbakken. He was brilliant against Roma when they
But
absolutely
you know that I prefer
destroyed them.
Eric
Yes,
about him though.
yes, we know the pitch. We know the pitch and played a part because the artificial surface. But notwithstanding, they have some very good players. Berg is another of those. And Lawrence have been doing very well. And the thing is, Levon, for many years, Lawrence was seen as a club that was just a feeding ground, similar profile to a Le Havre, where or even a Cannes or a Lorient. Yes, they have the players, but they can't keep them for very long, so they don't really make a big splash in League One. We have seen this season where Lawrence have upset the apple cart, because when you look at a team like Leon that is looking up at a team like Lens, it makes for good reading. When you look at like a team like Nantes, another player, I'm not sure if you have him on your list here, but another player who viewers could potentially look at is Ludovic Blas. Very good player, left-footed, is able to score and create. I think he would be a good player for teams in the mid tier of the English Premier League, because he is a good player.
All right. Big up yourself, Ryan LFC. Oh, you have a channel boss man. Big up yourself. Um, we saw that Rafa Benitez has basically frozen out Lucas
Luca
Digne.
Digne.
It is said that he'll probably leave January, and that is basically confirmed, with it being no confirmed that Vitali Mykolenko will be coming over to Everton once the transfer window is open. What do you think about that player?
Good player. Not as expansive as a Luca Digne, but I think he offers a bit more solidity. And it's obvious that there was no way back for the volatile Frenchman. Luca Digne, he is a player who initially I had a time for him, Levon, but because obviously of my French, my affinity for French players, because I'm a big French supporter. But he always seems to have some baggage. At Barcelona, there were issues. At Roma, issues at Everton. And the thing is, he was given leadership position at Everton, because in the absence of Coleman, he captained the team on many occasions, and he hasn't done it in terms of playing and also being a leader. And I think he has been a disappointment. And the faster he gets out, the better. And they need someone there, because when you look at someone like Ben Godfrey, he has signed for big money from Norwich, but he has been asked to play out a position and he's exposed. Yes, he's able to give you good running and he's an honest player, but it's obvious that he is like a square peg in a round hole. He when he gets to the byline, he can't put across him because he's so right-footed and playing on the left. His I think his star has waned as well because of the fact that he has not had a long run playing in his preferred position. And I think he is one who I think may become ostracized by Benitez, because I think he's also going to look at it as I was bought and playing out a position. So I think the pending arrival of Mikalenko can't come any sooner, because here is a player who will basically be almost unrivaled, because when you look at the options, they aren't really jumping out of the woodworks at Goodison Park right now in terms of playing at the left hand side, whether it is as a wing back in a back three or as a full back. So I think he will come in and he will be the starter if they get the deal across the board.
So with that in mind and all of that, I'm sure that this transfer window will be an exciting one, especially with Newcastle. They know that they have the money now and they'll spend a lot.
And they need
Marshall
the
is up.
players.
Marshall is up for sale. They can come over and get him. Lingard is up for sale as well. They can easily get him. So a lot of things to look forward to, and I believe your team needs some players as well. So just
Definitely. And you mentioned those two players, Levon. They are up for sale, and they also will be pushing for moves, because remember it's a World Cup year, and they are full internationals. Whatever we may think of them at their best, the managers tend to call on them. So it's not far fetched to see Anthony Martial if he has a change of scenery have a strong end to the season and finding himself back in favor with Didier Deschamps. Even Lingard, yes, right now he's obviously on the outside looking in, but you never know what might happen in the lead up to the World Cup. So he can move, have something similar to what he had at West Ham, strong into the season. Players lose form in those forward positions for England. So I think they need to move, and I think the fact that they are up for sale, I think that will be the factor that gets it across the line. The fact that it's a World Cup year and these players see themselves as possibly playing in Qatar in 11 months' time.
All right. Any other particular topic that you want to touch on?
Uh,
Yeah, go ahead and do so.
just quickly, the Ashes. I think England. This is a crucial day 11 in the series because they are precariously poised. 17 for 2. It's very, very dangerous because if they lose root early on day 3, then you might find that it might unravel very quickly. And I think they need to capitalize when they are playing in natural light. So I think they need to have a solid partnership. So disappointing to see how Hamid lost his wicket. I was happy though for Michael Nesso because he was a player who has been around the Australian squads for quite some time, and he was able to one contribute with the bat, and I think he took some confidence from that. I was also impressed with how Jai Richardson just came in and he was able to keep it tight. He is quicker than he looks. Skiddy action gets to you quicker than you think. Able to move the ball both ways, has a big future. If he's able to stay injury free, because he has had injuries plaguing his shoulder and his elbow and his wiry frame. While it's good to be wiry in terms of pace bowlers, it's also fraught with danger because you tend to develop a lot of injuries. And he's one who I have a lot of time for. Alex Carey, you and I have spoken about him many times. It was heartening to see that he made some runs because he has a big reputation and he's considered to be the natural heir apparent to Adam Beers. We know that Brad Haddin had a long run and he was very, very good for Australia. But long term, Kerry has always been talked up. Our guy didn't make any runs once again.
Needs to come to the party now, man. Needs
He
to
needs
do
to
it.
make some runs with the bat. I figure that he will have a say with the ball, especially on the lights, with his extra pace and obviously his bounce. So it's going to be fascinating viewing.
What's kind of confusing with him though, because just the other day, I believe it was in the Shield competition, he made a very good score, So I'm wondering that you're
and
playing
and and
pitches.
and also remember when he was about to make his debut, that was on the back of making a truckload of runs
Yep.
to the point where he was basically selected as a batsman, because remember there were issues around his ability to bowl because they wanted to protect him, basically wrap him in cotton clothing
I
because
think you
he's
come good though.
well, he needs to because obviously the two of us rate him highly, but also to keep his position in the team because yes, he adds balance, but he also needs to contribute with the bat and not just based on the fact that Australia, because Australia always wants to play a fast bowling all rounder. They're always on the lookout for one. Dating all the way back to Keith Miller in the 1950s. They have always tried to look for someone like that. Shane Watson, and they tried with him for so many years. His back and his ankles and his knees didn't allow him to bowl regularly. So I think Cameron Green needs to make some runs really, really quickly to cement his spot in the team.
The only weak spot you could probably say in this Aussie lineup
Marcus
is
Harris,
and it's just sad what has happened to Will Pokowski on a couple of
Bukowski,
occasions. Because
yes, the concussion.
this guy is super talented, and I just hope that he focus on correcting his issue with that sharp ball, because the
The
sharp
shot
ball is
ball,
his issue. And once he sort out that, Australia will be a complete team.
precisely. And there were question marks over Travis Head, and we saw what he did in that first test. Just played his natural game, and it all came out for him. Didn't make much runs this time around, but
Brilliant delivery to get rid of him, though.
Well. To be fair, yes, it was a very good delivery. So no blame attached to the left-hander. But Harris, he's walking on a slippery slope.
He's
I
gone.
dare say, if he doesn't make runs, if Australia is required to bat meaningfully in the second time of asking, he needs to make runs, or he will find himself struggling to meet the 11 for that boxing day test. I think Kawaja may come back in because especially we spoke about this already in Australian conditions. When the ball comes onto the bat, Kawaja, because of his ability to play the horizontal shots, I think he's a better option. I think Kawaja, he's been vilified because of his poor record against spin bowling, especially in the subcontinent. But against England, this version of England, remember they
This
don't
will
have
be
a
the perfect opposition to play him against.
precisely because they have no Graham Swan, who was very very good bowling to left-handers, and of Kawaja's issues against off-break bowlers. So I think he may find himself back in. Initially, they had earmarked him for a middle order position because remember there was a toss up between him and Travis Head, and Head got the nod because Head is seen as being leadership quality long term for Australia. So they're trying to put all the confidence in Head. So I think Kawaja may revert to a spot at the top of the order because Harris doesn't look like he's going to cut it.
Yep. I think that's where we're going to call it a night on the show. It was a pleasure with you being here again, boss. And as I
Yes,
said
sir.
to the people before, next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, we want you to call in, leave your voice, and let us know who has been your favorite analyst of the year. Ron was here for what? He has been here for the past 3 days. He has had an impact on a lot of you guys because I saw you kept on asking for him. So if Ron is your favorite, call in, let us know. So remember, next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, we will be having that discussion in regards to the analyst of the year. All I'll say to you guys, continue supporting Sports Frenzy. Big up to Kim who was here earlier. Again, thanks to Rowan. Thanks to our producer Josh for making this possible. And to you, the viewers. Without you, there's no Sports Frenzy. So keep on supporting the thing. We need to have that viewership go up way further. I'm not satisfied with what I'm seeing from you guys. You can do better. So we need to see the viewership go to 50s, 60s, 70s because we have over 500 plus subscribers. We need to see more viewership. So let us do this together. Until tomorrow, where Kims will be here to discuss some NFL. Stay safe, guys. Enjoy some football. Enjoy some ashes. And stay safe.